Today we're hitting the rides on this build on a budget because we're checking out the most dangerous gamer. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe or leave a like if you enjoyed the video and comment down below what your favorite part was. Now let's jump into the commander. So the most dangerous gamer is a 4-mana Golgari human gamer guest. Why not? It has Death Touch, it's a 2/2, and whenever it enters or attacks, we open an attraction. Whenever we claim a prize, we destroy a permanent. There is only one commander legal card that can claim a prize, so we don't really care about the bottom effect. But we do want to be attacking and putting counters on our commander to be able to make it big, kill with commander damage, and have as many attractions open as possible. And in order to visit as many attractions as possible, we need to pay to play. And this is a little bit of a janky ramp deck, starting with Coming Attraction. 3 mana, go search for a basic land and to play tapped, but we open an attraction on the side. Harrow, 3 mana, sack a land, get 2 lands into play untapped. Inspiring Statuary, non-artifact spells have Improvise. We can tap our attractions because they're artifacts to pay for our spells. Llanowar Elves, simple mana dork, tap for a green. Rishkar Pima Renegade is a 3 mana creature that puts 2/1/1 counters dispersed among creatures we control, and it gives our creatures with counters the ability to tap for green. Search for Tomorrow is a 1 mana suspend spell, but really a 3 mana put a basic into play untapped. Sakura Tribelder, Steve, my boy, 2 mana to sack it, put a land into play tapped. Wayfarer's Bauble, 1 mana artifact that we can pay 2 and sack to put a land into play tapped. Rampant Growth, 2 mana, go get a land, put it into play tapped. Cultivate, go get 2 lands, 1 into play tapped, the other into hand. And Soul Ring, typical mana rock, belongs in every commander deck. But be warned, because accidents may happen, caused by things like Canker Bloom. Pay 1 and sack it to destroy an artifact, enchantment, or proliferate. Casualties of War, 2 black, green to choose to destroy artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. Feed the Swarm, 2 mana to destroy a creature, enchantment, and pay a little life along the way. Wreck Sage destroys an artifact or enchantment on ETB. Go for the Throat destroys a non-artifact creature. Assassin's Trophy destroys a permanent an opponent controls, then they search for a basic land, put it into play untapped, by the way. Beast Within destroys a permanent, then they make a 3/3 beast. Deadly Tempest is a board wipe for creatures, but everyone loses life equal to the amount of creatures they had destroyed this way. And we also have some recursion pieces to get back those accidents. Honest Rutstein, when ETB, return a creature from our graveyard to our hand and creature spells cost 1 less, and Eternal Witness returns a card from our graveyard to our hand. We're going to need to print some tickets and draw some cards, starting with Death Reap Ritual. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died, draw a card. We don't have much as far as removing people's things outside of our typical removal suite, but other things are going to die naturally, so we'll draw cards along the way. Monumental Corruption next. Target player draws X card and loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts we control, which will be a lot. We will be opening a ton of attractions. Thickest in the Thicket, when it enters, double the number of 1/1 counters on a creature basically, and at the beginning of our end step we draw 2 cards if we have the highest power or tied for it. Garruk's Uprising draws a card when it ETBs if we have something with 4 or greater, and continues to give us that 4 or greater draw card, and creatures have Trample, which is really great with our commander since it has Death Touch. Hunter's Insight, choose a creature when they deal damage to a player, we draw that many cards. Hollow Mursk Siege, we get to choose 2, but the one we choose is whenever a counter is put on a creature we control, draw a card. It triggers once each turn, sure, but we're going to draw every turn. Genova Ancient Calamity, at the beginning of combat, put a number of 1/1 counters on a creature equal to her power, and it becomes a mutant, and whenever a mutant dies, we draw cards equal to its power, so if our commander dies, we'll draw a ton of cards. And last up, Mask of Gristlebrand, which is a 3 mana equipment that gives something flying and lifelink, and when it dies, we can pay X life and draw cards equal to its power, which is incredible. And let's open some attractions actually with this roller coaster, starting with Deadbeat Attendant, 2 mana ETB open an attraction, pretty simple. Discourtesy Clerk, 4 mana when it ETBs open an attraction, and at our end step, if we control 3 or more, we draw a card and lose life. So a little bit of draw along the way, but we want to open those attractions. Line Cutter, 4 mana ETB roll to visit the attractions. Petting Zookeeper, ETB open an attraction. Quick Fixer, 3 mana whenever it deals combat damage to a player, open an attraction, but it also has Menace. Squirreling Squatters, ETB open an attraction, and whenever it attacks, we create a 1/1 equal to the number of attractions we visited, which is pretty good on the side. Step Right Up, 4 mana, open 2 attractions, pretty simple. And last up, Lifetime Pass Holder, ETB's tapped, when it dies, open an attraction. Whenever we roll to visit, if we roll a 6, we can return it from our graveyard to the battlefield. And we have some synergies for our attractions, starting with Night Shift of the Dead. Whenever we roll a die, we can pay a 1 to increase or decrease it by 1, and do that only once each turn. And whenever we roll a 6, we create a 2/2 which we can use. Teething Wormlet is a 1 mana 1/1, but it has Death Touch if we have 3 or more artifacts, and whenever an artifact enters, we can gain a life, and if it's the first time, it gets a little bigger as well. Sarenth Steelseeker is probably the best card in the deck. Whenever an artifact enters under our control, we can look at the top. If it's a land card, we can put it into our hand, and if we don't, we can surveil it to our graveyard. Cranial Plating gives an equipped creature +1/+0 equal to the amount of artifacts we control. Necron Overlord, we can pay X and tap it to tap X untapped artifacts we control to make someone lose X life. So it's a mana sink, but we can also tap our attractions to be able to burn people. And also we have Mirror Works. Whenever a non-token artifact enters, we can pay 2 to make a copy of it. And we're going to make our commander too tall to ride with a ton of counters, starting with Agent of the Shadow Thieves. Whenever we attack the player with the most life, put a 1/1 counter on it. Aveline Day Grand Priest sees the amount of combat damage dealt to an opponent by Death Touch creatures and puts number of 1/1 counters on it equal to that damage dealt, so our commander will excessively get bigger from it. Corpsejack Menace will double the amount of counters put on a creature. Cured Wombat does the same thing. Duskshell Crawler gives creatures with 1/1's trample. Fight Rigging gives a creature 1/1 counter, and we can also hide away and get a bonus from it. Invigorating Surge puts 1/1 counter on something, then doubles those counters. Ornery Tumblewag, at the beginning of combat, we put a counter on something, and when it attacks, double the amount of counters on a target creature to make our commander bigger. Snakeskin Veil is a protection spell that puts a counter on it. Solidarity of Heroes, it has Strive, it costs 1 and a green more to cast for each target, and we can choose any number of target creatures and double the number of counters on them. Titanic Rex, we can cycle to draw a card and give our commander trample. Forgotten Ancient puts counters on it. Whenever a player casts a spell, we can move these to our commander on our turn. Predatory Hunger, whenever an opponent casts a creature spell, we make our commander a little bigger. Winding Constrictor doubles the amount of counters put on our commander as well. Same with Loading Zone. Managorger Hydro, whenever a player casts a spell, we put a counter on it, so it's another threat as well. And last up, we have Hardened Scales. If one or more 1/1 counters we put on something, an additional one is put on instead. And last up, we're going to give our commander Trample with Tuskguard Captain. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has Trample. Chariot of Victory, 3 mana equipment with Equip 1. Equipped creature has First Strike, Trample, and Haste. Rings of Colonia, 2 mana at the beginning of our upkeep. Put a 1/1 counter on equipped creature if it's green, but it also gives it Trample. And lastly, Rancor gives our commander 2/0 and Trample, and whenever it gets put in a graveyard, we put it to our hand. On top of this, we're also running 20 forests and 15 swamps to make sure we have enough mana to make our deck do what it wants to do. So that's about it. If you have any suggestions for a future build on a budget, put it in the comments and I'll check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!